become aware of something that's going on in South Africa. It's called canned hunting. Now, I talked yesterday on the show about it. Also put a post on our Facebook page with a link to Federal Liberal MP Jason Wood's webpage, where you can go and sign a petition to help stop the importation of wildlife body parts that are the trophies collected by cowards who shoot these animals in an enclosure under the banner of hunting. Now, this barbaric practice nets the organisers big dollars, with some people paying tens of thousands of dollars to shoot all sorts of animals, including rare white lions, and they select what they want to shoot on a menu. Founder of For the Love of Wildlife, Donalea Patman, joins me on the drive-through to talk about this issue. Hi, Donalea. Thanks for your time.
It's my pleasure to be on the show.
It beggars belief that this is going on, but sadly it is, and it's been going on for some time. When and how did you come across this practice?
I came across it when I visited the White Lion Protection Trust in Timbavati. Linda Tucker, we went out to see the beautiful white lions. I have to tell you, seeing them in the flesh is extraordinary. And when we returned, she showed us a video and told us about the plight of white lions and how they're targeted by trophy hunters and the canned hunting industry. And I have to tell you, when I saw that footage, I was enraged.
Yeah, I've seen it too, and I understand exactly what you're saying. So what happens is that they lure people to these like farms that are part of the conservation group to pat these beautiful lion cubs. They volunteer their time, although they have to actually pay to go there to do this, believing that they're actually contributing to conservation of these beautiful animals. What actually happens after that?
Yeah, it's the conservation con. It starts off with from birth. These cubs are taken off their mothers straight up. They're sent to petting zoos, so people think that they're orphaned lions. They then go, as they get older, they go to lion walking parks, and people love the experience of walking with young lions. And then once they're too big and they start sort of behaving, with their natural instincts, they're then sent back to the canned hunting industry. And from those reserves, they're put up on a website and you can choose your lion, and then you book it and you fly in and have your little experience, and it gets stuffed or treated and you take it home with you as a trophy.
No, we're not talking about hearsay here. You actually know people who have gone over there and have actually been a part of the group, petting these beautiful little lion cubs and playing with them, and of the belief that they have a future.
I know many people in Australia that have been exposed to the industry. I also know somebody very close to me who I told about canned hunting, and he did his research. He still got lured into it and believed that he was at a reputable park. So he came back from that telling me of his experience, and it was only weeks later that particular reserve was actually exposed as being contributing to the canned hunting industry.
It's obviously a very clever cover-up. How do people know the difference between a legitimate conservation group and these other types?
It's actually quite simple. Anybody that advertises having cub petting, lion walking, you've got to ask, what do they do with these lions? There are many of these lions at these reserves, and you have to question, firstly, with cubs, where are their mothers? And with the lion walking, there are big numbers of these lions. Once they're humanised, they can never be returned to the wild. So they become a threat. So there's like 8,000 lions in these, I call them death camps, and they can never be rehabilitated. So the issue is what to do with these lions if this industry is closed down.
One of the things that staggers me is just how incredibly cruel it is to humanise these animals, to bring them up, to rear them, to feed them, to love them, bring people in to pat them and have fun with them, under the pretense that they have some sort of a release program for them, but they're just taken away and basically slaughtered.
There'd be outrage if we were doing that with our dogs, wouldn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. So just so we can paint a picture for everyone who haven't seen the video on YouTube, and certainly there are plenty on there. If you want to be disgusted, do yourself a favour and just have a look at what exactly it is that we're talking about. These lions, for instance, and there's all sorts of different animals that are used, but let's talk about the lions. These are beautiful, full-grown lions, exactly the same as you see and the plains and in the jungles and whatever around the country, but they're looking at people who are coming to shoot them with their rifles. They're not running away because they actually don't fear the human beings. They think that there's everything okay, so they just stand there or lay there and wait to be killed.
Yeah. The other part that's horrific, and I'm sorry if this is really confronting for the listeners, is that they want to preserve their head. So
Yes.
It's not a quick shot to the head. They do body shots so that the head is kept perfect. So these lions are either got an arrow through them or they've got several bullets. It's a long, painful death, and it's just disgusting.
Yeah, I saw someone actually shooting one with a bow, and these guys are cowards. They don't even get out of their jeep to shoot these animals.
No, ludicrous amounts of money. It's the worst. I've never seen anything quite like it. It's the arrogance. It's the level of abuse. It's the almost like the entitlement to be able to kill, but so inhumanely. Louis Theroux did a documentary on it, and the one he showed was that they had a hunting party that were basically behind a screen, and they waited for the animals to come to the waterhole, and they shot them when they were at the waterhole.
Wow.
It's just, and more women are becoming involved. That's the other thing that's hideous.
Yes, there is a Facebook post that's going viral around the world at the moment of the young American girl who has posted photos of herself beside lions and antelope and looking very proud of herself for slaughtering an animal. I think people need to understand that these animals are in an enclosure, not a small pen, but it is a large enclosure. It is fenced off. In other words, these animals can't get away, but they don't even try, of course, because they are perfectly happy with themselves being around people. So they're just a sitting target. What sort of people actually are doing this? What sort of people get joy out of shooting an animal like that?
Oh, I wish I knew. I just don't understand the psyche. I think if we were doing this, and I sort of think anybody that finds that that's a thrill is really very numb and really, we don't condone cruelty, we don't condone abuse, we don't allow violence to each other. This is just a hideous practice, and I just wish I could understand the psyche, because in my mind there's nothing, like if you're so numbed out that you have to go out and kill something to get your thrills, then that's a real sad sort of perspective on humanity. Surely we've evolved past having to kill to kind of get any sort of adrenaline rush.
What's amazing, of course, Donalea, and I'm sure you'll agree, with the advent of Facebook and us becoming more and more aware through visual mediums, through people taking films with their mobile phones, etc., etc. I'm on Facebook all the time and constantly bombarded with images of animals being mistreated around the world, whether it's in abattoirs, whether it's in zoos, whether it's in Africa. It's staggering. If you just spent time trying to defend all of these cruel, heartless people, you'd be flat out 24 hours a day.
I think we need to address what's socially wrong. I think whilst there's a influx of cruelty, it's also being exposed, and I just believe that when it's exposed, people are outraged, and that's what we're finding is socially unacceptable. We notice that if we see these sorts of things, we just behave, nobody keeps silent about it anymore. And like you'll know with the 19-year-old cheerleader that's been on Facebook, she's been bombarded with negative comments. So she's actually, I think, pulled her Facebook page down, I'm not sure. But this is what we need to do. We need to speak up on behalf of animals. There is little habitat. If humans keep breeding, we're breeding ourselves and taking over any space for wildlife. So we need to start speaking up and making space available. We need to represent wildlife. We're seeing many causes across the planet. Lots of celebrities are starting to speak up. It's our responsibility to protect them. There's a hideous practice that's just come online in the last month or so. There's a herd of rare Namibian desert elephants, and the Namibian government have taken it on themselves to sell 9 hunting licenses. Now, there's 100 of these elephants left. what is wrong with us why? I just don't understand how you could sell 9 hunting licenses to something that's so rare. And the herd, already one of the elephants has been slaughtered, and the herd is grieving. So they're going to take out another 8 of those elephants. That's just despicable.
Yeah, well, it's all about money, isn't it, at the end of the day? And it's really important to say that a lot of the animal abuse we see around the world is illegal. This, on the other hand, is not illegal in South Africa, is it?
Well, it was illegal. The High Court passed judgment in 2009, and because of the wealth behind, the safari clubs and the hunting groups, they actually had that overturned. So I'm hoping that if the Australian government are loud enough and give a clear message to the African government that we're not going to partake in this industry anymore, that they're being exposed, that they have to clean it up, that's what we need to do. We're a country that needs to stand up and have a loud voice, and we need to put pressure on them. I know that Jason's petition has also got the attention. I know the Italian Senate are speaking along the same lines, and so are the Spanish crew. And also I think the UK Parliament are also looking at banning and doing whatever they can to stop canned hunting. It's
no different from bullfighting as far as I'm concerned. That is the other legal practice that is incredibly disgraceful. Hasn't there been some developments today through the Australian government, though? Has there been some announcement today that they have achieved something, or am I getting that wrong?
I think Greg Hunt made an announcement on John Law's program today that he is asking the South African government to stop issuing trophy hunting licences to Australians. So if that goes through, that will be sensational. I've only just heard that news late this afternoon,
right?
Which is such a great initiative. We just need to be proactive in protecting what's left of Africa's wildlife. I personally believe that Africa is under siege, and we need to take responsibility for stopping that because wildlife belongs to the planet.
Couldn't agree more, Donalea. Thank you so much for your time today. People can get involved with this. They have a website, which I believe you only put together because of the incredible, the momentum grown by this, by people getting involved in it. For the love of wildlife.org, is that correct?
Yes, .org.au.
Yep.
And our news feed on Facebook, we're always exposing crimes against nature. So please follow us on Facebook, and we'll keep you up to date with some of the initiatives that the people are doing around the world.
Brilliant, and we'll certainly do what we can to make people aware of what's going on, because I don't think there's too many people listening to the show that wouldn't be absolutely outraged and disgraced by this behaviour. Donalea, thank you so much for your time.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you very much.
That's Donalea Patman on the drive-through, founder of For the Love of Wildlife. Check them out on Facebook and check out their website, fortheloveofwildlife.org.au. On 11:16.